Welcome to my review of 2002's Ghost Ship. Return one-way trip. Bad comedy attempt aside, you'll come to see that this Ghost Ship comparison isn't far off. And if you haven't seen Ghost Ship from 2002, what are you doing? You're missing out. It's a good classic horror movie. Return is a great pixel art game with a hand-drawn visual novel-style sections, and it's a perfect game to come out during the spooky times, because it is spooky times, at least at the time of recording this. It's a very simple 2D side-scrolling puzzle horror game with a somewhat cliche story, whatever. It really reminds me of like a lone survivor or Detention, with the same I fall asleep and I wake up in like a different version of the world. Detention is so good. Additionally, it kind of reminds me of Claire or even Distraint 2. I think I said that wrong, which are also good games to play during the spooky season. So from what I could find, this game, One Way Trip, started its development back in 2017. It's a fairly short game with 10 chapters, only taking a few hours unless you get stuck on puzzles, which y'all watching know I did a couple times. Or, if you somehow game overed and you didn't save because it has manual saves, you have to go all the way back to where you were and do it all again. It's short, but it has tons of replayability with different choices, rewards for going through the first time, and so much more. Additionally, there are also different endings, and I say that, and I do that with air quotes, is I don't know if there's endings in the story, because I only got one ending, but I did get an ending where you leave your friends right at the beginning of the game, which of course ends the game, but I thought it was nice and little teaser and a little fun that they let you do that. And then if you do that though, you have to watch an unskippable 5-minute opening scene, because if you leave before that, you haven't had time to save yet. So yeah, you get to start the game all the way from the beginning. Don't do what I did. Y'all may have noticed I've been playing a lot of indie games and all kinds of stuff lately, which is true for this one. This is an indie game, of course, but I stick with my retrospective rules is that if I believe this game is worth playing and it's easy to get, I will not spoil the story, because I think you guys should play this game, especially in spooky season. The story of One Way Trip Return goes fast though. I know it's a short game, but it's like boom, opening, boom, inside the train, boom, horrible things start happening. You barely get time to really figure out who anyone is or really care about anybody, including Saki, who is you, the main character. Like, why should we split up? Why do I have to find my friends? I think maybe another like 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of the game with the group would have given me the time to like really care about anybody at all. But as it stands, I don't really care about anybody. It would flesh out the characters just a little bit more, but that's just me. I'm not saying every story needs, a fleshed out more feeling for the characters, but if the motivation like this is to save your missing friends, I feel like I need to care about those friends, but it doesn't take away from the story at all. I did have a good time playing this. So this is where the Ghost Ship comparison comes in, and it comes in big once you get onto the train. That's when you start to see things that aren't there, or are they? You get quote-unquote transported into the past, just like in Ghost Ship. You get to see what really happens on the train and the people aboard, just like Ghost Ship as well. There really are two stories going on here. One in the modern with Saki and her friends and the broken down haunted nightmare train, and the second in the past in a wartime brand new train with a different set of people. The past and the present overlay and interweave together to create a perfect little short fun game for the spooky season. The whole game sets like a creepy atmosphere with its original music, its beautiful pixel art, and then the hand-drawn sections. But in my opinion, the reliance on jump scares kind of cheapens everything just a bit. You can have a scary game without reliance on jump scares. And don't get me wrong, I like jump scares, I play Outlast, I was recently playing Resident Evil Biohazard. I like jump scares. But relying on it to create that spooky atmosphere, or to create those scares when you have already a creepy, spooky atmosphere, kind of cheapened this game a little bit for me. And I just put it into a category of, oh, this is another one of those spooky games that comes out that has jump scares, whatever, okay. I honestly thought that the environment that they set with the loud noises and the weird imagery and all that stuff was perfect. But I don't know. I just felt like it cheapened this game a little bit. Aside from the reliance on jump scares, I do have some other things to talk about. You guys know I like to get the positive, out there, because most people probably aren't still watching till now. And then I like to do the negative, because usually the negative should be at the end, whatever. I feel like the main menu needs to have a continue button instead of start. Start takes you right to a brand new game, and you have to watch that, unskippable opening cutscene. It's nice that it doesn't autosave over your game, but again, it needs to have a continue instead of a start, because most people just hit start, not load. Yeah, it's something so small, I know, but it got me. Now, the game art is beautiful, and I'm not trying to take away from that, because I know how hard it is to create detailed pixel art, and I'm not trying to take away from the hand-drawn sections either, but the hand-drawn sections can look a little low resolution. Ooh, what a weird word to say at times. Like the asset wasn't upscaled correctly, or it was drawn at the wrong size and then resized, or they cut it out weirdly. I don't know what is going on with that. Additionally, I feel like Return could use a hint system or something like that. Nothing that outright solves the puzzle for you, but it helps you if you're stuck in a place for like 10 minutes or more. I got stuck on one puzzle in like the beginning, I think it's chapter 3 or 4, and I don't know if I was tired or just not understanding how to do it, but it almost killed this whole review for me. Seriously, I spent about 40 minutes trying to figure it out, and I had to go back to when people played this back in 2017 when they were doing the demos of this to try to figure it out, and it wasn't even the same puzzle, but I had to try to figure it out then. I don't know what it was, but I feel like this could have used a hint system, or maybe just like explain the puzzle to me better. I don't know, but I'm not gonna let that get hung up and take away from the objective quality that I've had with this game, that it was good. It's just maybe it's a me thing. Maybe I'm just letting people know and warning, there's some of the puzzles didn't feel like they were explained properly, or maybe I'm just an idiot, which is highly likely as well. I honestly think Return One-Way Trip is gonna be a sleeper hit. Kinda like I said with Inmost. Even with all the points I made for and against something, this game still was a fun time to have. I did have a spooky good time, you could almost say. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not good at jokes, why am I trying? And that's all I can really ask for, is just to have a spooky good time. Yes, I do wish some things were done differently, and some design and gameplay choices were different, but that doesn't take away from the time I had with this game. Overall, Return One-Way Trip was a quick little indie title to play during the Halloween. Maybe it'll take you like a day to play it. It's a game I'll go back to probably once a Halloween, I don't know. Then I'll have my eye on the studio to see what they come up with next. You can pick this up right now on Steam. It's a good time, and you're gonna have, if you don't want to play a big AAA horror game, this is right up your alley.